So almost everybody will be former and serving military officer don't they against waiting Oga Nyesom Wike do, especially the battle we get to do within him and a naval officer Yerima. A lot of people don't condemn the act. Burutai don't condemn him. Act say making apologize to the officer. Oga Soni Rabo, former chief of defense staff, don't condemn him. Also, they seek for the same thing. And what still, Oga lawyers, legal luminaries, different people don't come and condemn. And right now we hear say President Tinubu under pressure to force Oga Nyesom Wike to apologize for this kind of thing will happen because now something we will need to do to checkmate our system. But as they talk that one and as that battle still they go on, Nigerians don't join body together right to the United States of America, right to other places. Say, you know what, all of these thief politicians who we get for Nigeria, oh yeah, seize all their properties. We don't want them again. Seize their properties. This that as Nigerians, they also call on the United States when they do something concerning the genocide. Welcome to the show, my people. Today, another beautiful day to talk about things that happen for inside Nigeria and Nigeria matter. My name is Precious Enyi. This na update with Precious. And it always sweet my belly to bring on an update of things when they happen for inside the country. Make a begin go bring on those updates. Well, today na Thursday, and we get Oga Catch and Analogy for the house today to join us for inside the matter what we get for ground. So make I just begin rush with bring on the headlines before I bring Oga Catch enter inside the studio. So for the top to read them what we get this evening, Wike acted foolishly, disrespected Tinubu in standoff with naval officer Matawalle. Nine they talk this one. Yeah, a member of the cabinet. They condemn him. Okay. Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, ask Nigerian Navy, that is the entire Nigerian Navy, to apologize to FCT Minister Wike over altercation. It shock you? Make it not shock you at all. Make we move on to other issues sharply. Policemen attached to Minister Wike advises military personnel, we are hungry, fighting for powerful people who are enjoying our wealth. Inside that altercation, I just want to miss that part. He did one part, we did that period in the begin fight. Then within one of the policemen, they talk for inside, they talk for Hausa language. So people say, so say on they fight powerful people for powerful people, we basically chop our wealth. Well, make we move on. Compel Wike to apologize to Navy officer Falono. Don't urge Tinubu. That one said day grand. But we'll move on now. Nigeria unites, writes US Senate over democracy collapse in Nigeria. Nigeria unites, writes US Senate over democracy collapse in Nigeria. 6 sanctions for Minister Wike, compromise judges behind impunity. Yeah? Nigeria is not a vet, so now writing, and then reporting. Violent farmer header clash. Governor Yahaya suspends Gombe traditional rulers. They see they call this matter farmer header clash. That God go save us inside this country. Because Plateau State Governor talked yesterday. Talks say there is nothing like farmer header clash. That what we have is pure land grabbing. But it is shocking that people see they call them farmer header crash. Where I be, my owner just to report the news as they take right time. Yobe Governor Malabuni don't spend 2.8 billion naira on sitting allowance, just sit-down allowance alone. Honorarium, more than education and health. So he pay himself honorarium, or he give honorariums, and he pay himself sitting allowance more than the money we spend for health and education. Shock you. This is Nigeria. All right. Gunmen kill police inspector, other security operators during ambush in Nasarawa State. And that one said the Obedience Movement Mobilization Director resigns, accuses Peter Obi of neglecting grassroots structure. And then this one don't they trend on top of Twitter because people don't they drag them. They say, why would you make it public? Why you not gonna make it public? Then other people they talk. We'll also talk about that matter. Yobe Governor Malabuni spends here. I think I told you that already. So let's move on now. As troops, you see how gallant our soldiers are working very hard now. They say troops rescue 74 corps members stranded in terrorist enclave in Borno State. Then they stranded for terrorist enclave. They don't rescue them. Atiku should shelve 2027 presidential ambition. Let South complete 8 years. Southwest PDP, 9 they tell Atiku Abubakar that one. And then Edo Muslim groups use Governor Okpebolo over handover of public schools to Catholic mission. Now, so most of these Catholic schools, now schools where be say, where they hand over to Catholic schools, not be just public schools. Now schools will be originally Catholic schools where government be collect, then give them back to them. But Muslims, for instance, they do say no. So no carry these schools, then give. They don't even sue the matter self. Obasanjo, Danjuma never deployed soldiers over land disputes. Wike fault ex-naval chief. And then ADC blasts Tinubu over fresh loans, urges halt on non-critical borrowing. Senate passes bill prohibiting recruitment of underage persons into Nigerian military. That one follow. Reps order suspension of CBT rollout for WAEC 2026 exams. That is the computer-based exams so they're supposed to get for WAEC now. Reps don't say, I'm not going to break inside, I'm not going to do like that. You know, good is not good, is not good. Well, all of this and more to read and now good to end this evening. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to the show. So joining us inside the studio, now Oga Catch, Dr. Catch Ononoju.
I thank you, people. I'm happy to be here with you. Precious, it's good to be with your audience. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to be here.
I see you're starting your weekend early. Looks like you're in thank God it's Friday mood on a Thursday evening.
Well, I'm okay. I'm all right with your Thursday assignment for me. I will be available to
Thank you,
give it
sir.
to your audience the way they should get.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, speaking about giving it to my audience, this soul drama over Wiki and all that, a lot of people don't condemn him. Sonny Rabo condemn him. Brutai condemn him. Chief of Defense Staff even talk, say the guy do well. Matawalle, the Minister for State for Defense, don't talk the same thing. Sorry. Minister for Defense, don't condemn him. The Minister for State for Defense don't consider a foolish act. By act. This is not the first time when they see minister do something. He follow cabinet members, they go against them. But we can call press conference when he talk for more than 40 hours over this matter this afternoon. He complained bitterly. When he cited example, other people never behaved like this before. That other people like Obasanjo and they ask and say how far for this land before they take action. Because now him be the landlord, so him be the caretaker of Abuja. I don't know whether I will just take a little excerpt of that press conference so that you will hear in response and reaction to this matter. You know, say he called the press conference today to react to that matter we happened yesterday. You know, so Wike they call press conference from time to time. Look, take a listen to him.
I respect the institutions and I know what it takes. Even as a governor, no governor will say that they supported the military more than me. So I know. But how do you see a private individual knowing fully well that you are against the law? It is not military versus government. No. If it was military, I would have admitted to them that, look, military, why are you doing this? This is a private individual. Land was not allocated to him. Land was allocated to a company called Santos in 2007 for parks and recreation. They applied to the former minister for change of use. The minister refused. The man went, started selling land. Maybe the former chief of naval staff fell into their scam, sold. This government property. It's not your property. If government officials came to say, look, what are you doing here now? This is not, government has sat under the ministerial committee and taken back every land under parks and even under secretariat, because we felt that there are a lot of delays, suits, litigations. We said, no, we won't continue with that. You send this to start beating government officials. Not private, but government officials, beating them. Senior government officials, you were beaten. You couldn't even say, okay, let me get to the minister. See how he can help us, No, not like that. Simply because you had a relationship with the military. And government cannot enforce laws because you are attached or you had a relationship with a particular institution. Or you come from a particular place. Who does that? Who does such thing? How would this country? How can I sit as a minister? Government officials have been attacked. Government officials have been beaten up. Government officials to the level of directorship. Then I'm sitting in my office doing what? How will such officials carry out their functions again when they know that their principal or their boss cannot protect them? Not as private individuals, as government officials. So many people have had problems. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former a general, former head of state, former president, he will call me on phone. Minister, I look good at this problem of land here. Please carry. I will solve the problem. That is former head of state too. Former elected president. We have the courtesy of calling the minister. Look, I have this problem. I have this problem. See how you can look into it. Janati Wadanjuma would call you. Look, there is this and this and this. These are people who, they're all retired generals. These are people with constant discipline. They didn't bother because they were former chief of officer. They were former president. They never sent soldiers. They never sent anybody to go and attack anybody. They just call you. And respect the gas, respect. I have to respect. And I'll tell them, sir, don't worry. I will sort out the problem. And I will do. I won't even talk about other people who are highly placed. They will come to you. Mr. Minister, maybe we didn't know of this. If we knew, we would have done it like this. When a serving Major General attacked the development control, I wrote a letter. The President Chief of Defense Staff was Chief of Army Staff then. I wrote a letter, sir. See. Because that is a serving military officer. That if anything goes wrong, he's still under the authority, under the control of the military. When I came on board, before then, President Jonathan had awarded a contract to develop another city, which was close to the military. Awarded a contract, not me. A Federal Council presided over by the CNC. Awarded. The contractor went there, he was just away. I wrote a letter. We met. The late Chief of Army Staff, Alabangi, was there. The former Chief of Defense Staff was there.
All right,
You
so
said
this is
Minister
just a
of
little
Defense.
preview of the things and way BC Oga Wike talked today for inside that press conference with the guests. And as I speak to you, the Niger Delta and Niger Delta development, the PANDEF generally, Niger Delta Forum PANDEF, they don't ask, say, make Nigerian Navy generally apologize to Wike for this kind of thing. Because why they go ask the Navy? So the Nigerian Navy made them apologize to Wike. Even as I read don't call me Nigerian Navy also apologize to Wike. Now you hear Wike's explanation. The land we visit they allocate a long time ago to army generals. So this part of that land, they bring out tax and garden. I don't know the true matter. And then Wike revoked them and is reallocating them. And I was one of the people where he reallocate the land to, and the present INEC chairman now, I'm up with follow people where gets land for inside that area right now. However, not be the first time we don't hear say Wike, they revoke lands, they reassign to people, especially in cronies and people where they under this administration right now. Make I take your
Well, if you ask me, I will tell you, Wike has demonstrated that he lacks emotional intelligence. You know, this is a time Wike lacks emotional intelligence.
I heard that. I wanted to be sure.
And everybody knows right now that the president is tense due to the actions of the US president,
Hmm.
wanting it to get its act in order and stop the genocide against Christians. That's why you've seen a lot of people have toned down all sorts of politicking, only for Wike to now want to start a war with the military. It doesn't help. Tinubu is in a lot of
After
trouble.
a coup, remember I said we hear say coup being happen we no we be one happen we fail. And a military people.
Listen, what I'm just trying to tell you is right now, things are not very, very clean in the country. The reasons you're talking about coup is there is a lot of discontent against the president. A section of the military are not happy. That's why you saw them even planning a coup. What you now need is peace with the remainder of the military. You don't need to start a war with the military. And don't forget, this is a property that the owner got approvals, due approvals
Oh.
from the FCT to build. And he has gone far. But you see, Wike still is suffering from the hangover of his thuggish reign in River State.
Ah.
He still thinks he still thinks that he is still governor. Whether you like it or not, Wike's behavior so far in the public space is that of a talk. And what we need, what brought him here, what made him a minister, because he actively participated in rigging. That's it, nothing else. Nothing good brought him, made him minister, because he rigged. This is his only claim to fame, to have gotten the presidential nomination to be minister. And that's what we're saying. The current government is composed of the benefactor of state capture. And that's why the country is not at peace. Right now, you have international interrogation of what's going on in Nigeria. Most people are lying low. There is nothing to be gained by starting a war with the military. These are properties that the military legally got papers for. And the man has sunk a lot of money into it. Then Wike went there and they said no. He sent people there and they said, listen, we have started building in line with the approvals given to us by the FCDA. The people from FCDA say, are you sure you have approval? They say, yes. Bring the paper, let us see. They brought the papers and gave to FCDA. Wike looked at it, he said, no, 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 no. I hereby revoke.
Ha.
There are processes for revoking properties and things that you gave approvals to. When you revoke, you will also tell them you will take so and so place. Such things didn't happen. And then he just said he revoked and then started reselling the properties to who he wants. Even there had been some private agreement between Wike and these military developers that they will concede something as much as 18 hectares to a group that Wike is interested. And the people agree because the land is vast. And they went on to start developing the ones that they have money for. Only for Wike to come in the middle, send people, and after the people show them the papers, approval from FCDA for them to commence work. When you give approval, what you're telling the builder to do is to put money to the site. Now you say you want to revoke it. You're not revoking it for the public interest. No. You're revoking it to give to your cronies or to give someone that paid.
Hmm.
Good. Why is Wike going after these green areas that were gardens before? because the other ones he wanted to just outrightly, cancel, had issues. So he's now looking to cancel the green areas and then repurpose them instead of them being green areas that are used for outside recreations like bars and everything. You now want to repurpose them for estates. There's nothing wrong with that. But whoever you're taking their property from, there are processes. You will call the people and say, we're taking this from you, but we will compensate you with so and so and so. Now, these military big people now have their juniors who serve them currently in positions of authority.
Mhm.
There is no way those juniors who also are privy to the discussions will allow their seniors and their bosses to be humiliated by this minister that lacks emotional intelligence. Wike has become an embarrassment for this government.
Hmm.
At a time like this, when the country is in turmoil, yes, the gradual killings, Christian genocide has been going on, but it didn't start under Tinubu. It was officially aided by government under Buhari. There is nothing like farmers' headers crisis. No, it was a push to gain land. As I said earlier, when the crisis happened in 2015 in Mali, President Buhari was among leaders of West Africa that were signatories to that 2015 agreement. Instead of working to implement the 2015 agreement in Mali, no, Buhari sought ways to bring those refugees from across West Africa into Nigeria. There is no law that says if you bring people, you have to kill Nigerians, you have to call it jihad, shout Allah Akbar before you kill people. No, as a way to take their land. The ones who are not killed are headed into refugee camps, while outsiders and foreigners take over their lands. This is the problem the international community are now demanding that Nigeria put a stop to. So it has tensed up everywhere in our country. And we expect everybody to be calm. That's why most of the ministers you hear talk. This is the first time they've ever spoken in public since the Trump rebuke of the Tinubu administration for not doing anything in regards to the Christian genocide across the Middle Belt.
Absolutely. Most of them haven't said anything in public after.
They have not said it because of how very weighty this American challenge on us is. The government thought it could do denial, but we have also told the government privately that the more you engage in denial, the more the Americans will believe that this administration is not the current administration, not the correct one that can work with the international community towards ending this genocide, and so they will demand for regime change.
I was
And
going
that's
to
why you see
mention that
everybody
because
being calm.
a US House of Rep member already said something about regime change if this persists. And
That is exactly what I'm telling you. That's why everybody is calm down. That's why you've not had any minister talk. Everybody have been quiet, trying to work underneath. But look at Wike. That's why I told you earlier, he lacks emotional intelligence. Anybody with emotional intelligence right now knows that the game to play is bring down the pressure. If you notice, the government is not saying anything. The government have been advised that it's either you do the correct thing or you will be seen as being complicit with the Fulani. Because I told you earlier, the religion of duty amounts to criminal negligence, and negligence is a criminal offense. So Tinubu's incompetence in managing the Fulani jihad is the reason why the international community are asking that it's either Tinubu stop it or the Americans say they will come here and take out those people. We know the only people committing crisis are people who are with government. If you go to the east and say who are the terrorists, you will say that they are elements of the Buhari administration. That is the truth. The Americans know how to investigate and find out what the truth is. That's why, since the Americans say they are coming here to catch and deal with the terrorists, the only people complaining against American coming are the Fulani. Not everybody in the north, not the Hausa, not the Birom, not the Bagi, not the TV, not the Idoma, not the Kanuri. It is only the Fulani. Because the Fulani thought, as Nigeria's incipient democracy takes shape, democracy is a game of numbers, and they don't like to have the numbers. All the advantages that they've gotten through the days of the military, they can maintain those entitlement positions when they don't have numbers to sustain such in a democracy. And that's why you see them levying war against the rest of Nigeria as a strategy to seize Nigeria by force. And that's why you saw this crisis. And how is it that we are this weak? Nigeria is a Christian majority country till tomorrow. But you see, as I said earlier, the cascade of coups that occurred when Buhari made sure Ekweme, a Christian, didn't emerge after Shagari. That coup was followed by Babangida's coup and Abacha coup. Those three coups plus the Abdul Salami rule made sure that Christians were written out of existence in Nigeria through decrees. And that's how, in a democracy, those who wanted to implement those fraudulent assertions and positions that were written into decrees by soldiers, they could not do that, and that's the reason why you have this violence. So, yes, the country is currently at a place it has never been before. Most Nigerians are begging Trump to hurry up. This is coming. But I also understand we are being careful. We are waiting. The statement from the US president excites the majority of Nigerians who believe that their country has been captured by a Sunni minority who now seeks to cleanse the Christians from the Christian states of Taraba, of Benue, of states like Nasarawa,
Gotcha.
states like
Gotcha.
Plateau,
Hmm.
areas like Satan Borono, Satan Gombe,
Kaduna.
Satan Kaduna, where you saw massive ethnic cleansings under the Buhari administration. So these are the things that we are complaining against. And I believe anybody who means well for Nigeria should understand that those cries are genuine. And now the country is gentle. You can see everybody is quietly trying to see how they can be gentle enough not to anger the Americans. And then suddenly we have Wike and his madness. This is the same Wike who have been trying to undermine the opposition. Don't forget that. Wike has now become an existential threat to our democracy, and I don't think that serves him well. That's why most Nigerians don't like him. That's why you see them talking the way they are talking. So let us protect the Christians who are about 40% of Yobe, 90% of Taraba, 30% of Bauchi State, 30 of Kebbi State, between 10 to 15% of Sokoto. They also exist massively in Kasina, in places like Malumfashi, Sapana, Dusima, then Musa. Zamfara has about 20% Christians. Kanu about 15%, and you have them in places like Churawa. You have them in places like Sabongeri, Sumaila, Tudunwada, and of course Borno has up to 25%. And most of them, if I can tell you now, Goza used to have 185 churches, but because of the incessant jihadist attacks, the churches have now been decreased from Goza from 185 to 25 only remaining now in Goza. This is how very serious this crisis is. So, what I'm trying to tell you is the problem with the Christians and the North didn't start today. And I believe we should understand this is an existential security issue for the country. And it was just cascade of coups that now gave the Muslims advantage as they wrote decrees that promoted Muslims over Christians. But if you check the school enrollments, if you check bank records, if you check the relativity of school enrollment to population density, you will see probably like Christians are about still, just put it about 64, 65% of Nigeria. And they continue to grow. And we're doing very well. So for me, I'm not asking that the country be broken apart. Maybe a restructuring that allows for some kind of delineation into autonomous regions may be the right thing for us to go to. But until we do that, we must find a way to find accommodation for each order. We have to make Nigeria work. But if it doesn't work, we can still live as autonomous states, all of us subscribing to AU and subscribing to ECOWAS.
All right.
So for me, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so for you just mentioned AU ECOWAS, but both ECOWAS, the AU chairman himself even opened mouth today. He talked, say in fact, say na Hausa people, say na northern Nigeria, that then give the first-hand experiences so far of terrorists. So Christians, say na northerners, say na is Muslims, and then they suffer the effect of terrorists past any other religion. So say any story about Christian killing or genocide, that one said no follow at all at all. ECOWAS also back President Tinubu talk nothing like genocide of Christians at all at all. And you talk now talk say this continuous push. Say nothing they happen when something they happen. Say if it make the US begin look us somehow. How it is say they go take and when it be say all the African Union don't come together say no, nothing like this they happen. It's an integral faith, African Union.
I can tell you something. Commentators will speak in regards to what they know. Some could just make speeches to support some other people. Some also kinds of ignorance. But unfortunately, the international community already have the data. The positions of Tinubu in 2014 is against the Christian genocide. When we saw those Christian genocide, we thought they were actually farmers' headers crisis. I personally, it was when I went to interrogate, I traveled to places like Central African Republic. I traveled to Mali, Central Mali. I went to Burkina Faso. I went to Chad. I even went to Ghana. And that's why I came back to report on Channels Television that there is nothing like a farmers' headers crisis. That there is a properly oiled killing machine intended towards grabbing land from indigenous people. So if you hear people talk, they could just be talking to propagate what they have been begged to say. They're not talking out of knowledge. We in Nigerians who feel the pain, we are crying. Today, the Nigerian government, Hausas get killed because Hausas are considered by the Fulanis who are on the jihad as expendable. Don't forget, in the core Hausa states of Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano, Hausas number up to 90 to 95%. Fulanis are very few of the indigenous persons. But now that the Fulani are looking for land, attack Hausas, try to take over their land, mostly Hausa Christians. Hausa Christians in places like Dusima, in places like Malumpashe, Hausa Christians in Kankara, in Basari, and even Hausa Christians in Anka. This thing that you kill Hausas does not mean that they are killing Hausa Muslims. No, they are killing Hausa Christians. Then the places where the killing was total was in places like Southern Kaduna, places like Benue, places like Taraba, places like Plateau, because these are the middle belt areas where, because they have water along the Benue Basin and they have beautiful grasslands along the Mambila Plains. That's why the Fulani were fighting against the Kaka and the Pansa in Gembu. They're also killing a lot of people in places like Southern Kaduna. Those are Christian enclaves. I repeat, the people who told you that they don't know what they're saying. International researchers already in Nigeria and they're finding out what's going on. And every day I see what's going on. This problem didn't start today. Say what they say, don't know nothing. And anybody who tell you only houses have been killed, they don't even know what's going on. The killing, a group like Miyota Allah Kotohore was actually founded specifically to attack the Benue Basin
Eh?
by Abdullahi Bello Bodejo. Miyeti Allah Kotohore was established by Bello Bodejo, who is from Niger Republic, who came to Nigeria, settled in Bauchi State, but came to Nasarawa State to set up his Kautohori Mieti Allah militiamen, specifically to attack the Benue Basin. What is the offense of the TV and the Doma? Plus the Agatu. It is because they have land that has water. Just like General Danjuma said, once you have water and you have grass, the Fulani will attack you. So a lot of the places where this has been very rampant are the Christian-dominated. And the problem against Christians has been going on for long. Look at the problem against the Igbo, perpetrated by both Fulani Muslims and Yoruba Muslims. You might think it's a tribal. No, it's not tribal anything. It is same persecution of Christians. Igbos represent the largest body of Christians in Nigeria. And persistently, the Nigerian state, as you hear everybody say, has a problem with the Igbo. The same problem against the Igbo is being visited against the TV. The TV are 98% Christians. That 98%, about 92% of them are Catholic. They are the most densely populated Catholics in the whole of West Africa. The chiefs. So, what about Plateau, where the people belong to the Kokin Church, the Church of Christ in Nigeria? That's the transition that they took from the SIM, the Sudanese Interior Mission. And some other people are people of Equa Church.
Equa, yeah.
So, these things that we know it. We know it. Who are the people killing them? Muslims who chant Allahu Akbar. And once they Allahu Akbar, they start cutting off people. Whose complicity is that he was a Muslim. Tinubu was forced upon Nigerians on a Muslim ticket. So it's possible because the people killing are Muslims, he keeps quiet. For the Muslims to continue to kill so that they can turn everywhere into an Islamic state. Listen to me. We feel it, we know it. Forget about ignorant people who don't know what's going on and the things they say. It doesn't worry us. We are happy. Let the Americans come more than they've been told. And we are very hopeful. I'm in Nigeria and I'm telling you the truth. I'm not a government agent, neither am I. If you don't talk, you will still be killed by the jihadists. How can anybody begin jihad in West Africa in 2025? Tell me. And you know, through the Middle Ages, jihads and the crusades were followed by genocides. It is the genocide and nature of the crusades and the jihads that force populations to succumb so that nobody kills them more. And this is the problem we have. This is the problem we have in
All
Nigeria.
right, sir.
But
Okay. Let me let you land
yes,
your thoughts. No, please.
the Fulanis are the ones perpetrating the jihad. It's a Fulani jihad across the Sahel. Our problem is, why did I specifically, I campaigned, I joined others to form obedient movement for one reason, so that we prevent by all means a Fulani from succeeding Buhari. It is existentially dangerous because then they will be able to continue their war efforts. But you can see what has been arrested. I
You
pray
think
Trump's
you think
words.
so?
I know so because I'm in Nigeria. Trump's intervention has caused Tinubu to call a lot of the Fulani leaders and say, look, this thing has to stop. You have to talk
Eh.
to your people to stop
You
the killings.
you
If it
think
doesn't
I was
stop the
making me
killings,
tweet? You think I was making me tweet
I am aware that Trump's
Sultan?
intervention has
Mm.
brought so much fear. That's why you see Tinubu calling the Sultan and say, look, you are the head of this Fulani. Stop the killings. If you don't stop the killings, when the Americans come here, all of us are in
But they
trouble.
but
And
they
that's
don't
the
stop the
fact.
killing because a lot of people go tell you saying more of propaganda. People go show you aerial view, the view, the recent wins where they say that they make now wins where it be established years ago. Now it be said that they use show say what
Don't
they
worry.
then do. That's what
There
people they
is
talk
nothing
now.
wrong. Listen, the difference is that they have lies to propagate. We have evidences. We have people who are killed. We've been crying. This is real. So we are happy now that the international community are not paying attention to the killings. Don't forget, the international community have intelligent gathering assets all over Nigeria. So they know what's going on. We're not asking them to come and see something new. No, telling them that this thing that is going on has to stop.
All right, sir. So
It is,
okay.
yes,
So two ways I go
it,
two questions I go like ask. One about 2027 election concerning these killings, and another one as it get to do with these killings and the reactions we don't follow. Because some people go talk say it is very unpatriotic for Nigerians to the demand may US come help us. That you don't love your country because you know, say the after effect of US help feel destroy Nigeria. How can you unpatriotically excuse my language, ask US to come they help us? That's not one question we people they ask. And then secondly, if you look at waiting they happen now, some people don't think say or don't they talk say there is a renewed love and vigor now between Tinubu and North. So Northerners now feel don't agree to support and making win 2027 because of this Trump thing. Because this Trump thing now, they like saying and waiting it be say they not even one year say opposition gets mouth inside. So do you think that this Trump's threats will bring together Tinubu and the North? Will go make them vote for him again for 2027 as people don't they talk?
no, doesn't work that way. The majority of people in the North want the Americans to come because the people being killed majorly are in the North. So you're talking about the Fulanis, the Muslims in the far North. What about the Christians in the Middle Belt? What about even the Hausas who are being killed, Hausa Christians? So what we are saying is end the Christian genocide. Forget the people making noise. It took us time. We've been crying about this thing for the past decade. It is now that the world is beginning now to show interest in our cries. So it doesn't matter what anybody says. We feel very grateful to President Trump for intervening. We pray that he sustains his interest in Nigeria. Why am I going to stop telling the truth? Is it patriotic to lie? Then we all get slaughtered in the jihad? No, that's not patriotic. Because if you keep quiet when the thief is still in your house with the gun and knife he uses to kill your people, the essence comes out. Instead, they can shout and scream when the husband wants to kill them. People will run from the community and come there and say, "Oh, but now waiting, now you want to kill her? What's the problem? Do you want to kill her?" And that will stop. That's what we're doing. That's what we're crying for. So now, all that thing they lied to us that it was farmers aid. It's not farmers aid. There's nothing like farmers aid that crisis. Boko Haram, all that. Ask yourself, ISIS is here, ASWAP is here. So why are they here? Ask yourself, why are they here? Did they come to Nigeria to watch television? No. They all came to participate in the jihad. And that's what we're saying. Please, the world should separate from the hands of the jihadists. There's nothing big about that. It has no rocket science. Good, let them come and they will see with their own eyes what we're saying. And I tell you one basic truth. There are a lot of international investigators currently in Nigeria. Take that to the bank. I met some in some areas in Kaduna State and some areas of Benue State. The world is now coming into Nigeria to gain first-hand knowledge as President Trump spoke to this crisis. When you now see that a lot of displaced Christians who didn't die are still living in IDP camps, while foreigners are now living in their ancestral homelands, this is a problem. How can indigenous people be driven from their areas after they've buried the dead and they cannot return home? In Plateau State, the governor says 65 are occupied, and a lot of them have their names changed. So we're not just making stories up. This is a continuation of that text you saw, the tweet you saw Tinubu make in 2014. Nothing has changed. The frequency of the killings have increased. And that's why we believe if we don't speak up as we should, we will all be dead.
All right. So
Because,
do you
yes.
think that this threat go fit bring back an alliance between Tinubu and Northerners? You think it is possible?
Don't forget the Northerners are divided. There are Northerners who fear for their life because their loved ones have been killed, and they are in the majority. The people that might have Tinubu talk to them, who are actually the people perpetrating the jihad.
But are the
But I don't think
leaders?
so.
No, not be say, but the people then waiting Tinubu go talk to. Now the leaders. Now then go direct their flock to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, our own talks is that why is it that no modicum of assemblage of Fulanis have come publicly to speak against this? Look, it is still part of their takia. They're very deceptive thing. And when an entire group are silent while their members embark on ethnic cleansings in a strategy to seize land, you've seen the tapes with the Governor Bello Matawalle say they are making efforts to bring up Fulanis from the world into Nigeria. These tapes are still there. They are not made up. The videos are there. So you saw the video of when the presidential spokesman Adesina came to television to say Nigerians should consider giving up their land or they will lose their life. They will lose their life trying to keep the land. I don't make this up. These are things that are caught on video. So we understand how far we have borne this pain before the world now came to show interest.
All right, sir.
And we beg the world not to abandon us. It is their words that is now forcing reactions in Nigeria.
Yes,
Nigeria is
sir.
my country and I love my country. But it
All
is a
right, sir.
bad thing for people to be dying every day. Why should Nigeria be home to about 80% of Christian killings across the world? That's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
All right, sir. So say people we know they carry say the APC people for 2014 been go US go report to. I know say no is there your background no vex. I go try the talk out. So they may talk say the APC people go for 2014 go report Christian killings to the US. But Chibika Mechi is denying that. He said they never did that. That they never, he said it never happened. That there was no reporting of any sort. Maybe by him, but I don't know if he meant that him no report, but maybe other group go because there's a video of a particular House of Rep member from Northern Extraction that was in the US. In fact, he was interviewed by Adeola when he said arrest Jonathan. Make the investigate and arrest him. I don't know, make a finance so that I go play him for evidence for those who don't know. But while we're still talking about this, let me quickly get you this footage. I mean, this footage of a northern an Hausa northern young man and what he had to say about Tinubu meeting the Sultan of Sokoto.
As a Hausa person, I am suggesting that Hausa people as a Hausa person, I am suggesting that Hausa people should be given opportunity and privilege to assess Mr. President at any time. The same way Fulani people are given that opportunity of seeing Mr. President all the time. You see, yesterday, Sultan of Sokoto visited Mr. President in his office and they discussed about issues of insecurity that is ravaging northern part of Nigeria, Hausa land to be precise, which it is someone who is Hausa by extraction that is supposed to go and see Mr. President so that he will tell him exactly what the problem of Hausa land is. But actually, it is of an unfair treatment to us Hausa people to be represented by Fulani all the time in all these kind of places. Sultan of Sokoto is a member of Mieti Allah, is a chairman board of trustees of this Mieti Allah. The same Mieti Allah association, that is pure Fulani association that America is trying to declare as the terrorist group. It is well known to all of us that we know the stance of this. There are forums, the Fulani forums, Miet Allah and what have you. Their stance is that to negotiate with the bandits, allow them to go freely with their weapons untouched, build hospitals, schools, take any social amenity for them to enjoy themselves better than the way you, a patriotic Nigerian, is enjoying. Who are the members and sponsors of this, their Fulani forums? It is your governor, my governor, your senator, the former ones and the current ones. You are imams because all of them are the members of this, their Fulani forums. They never thought of, okay, let us help our Hausa people to build their own Hausa forums. None of them ever thought about this. None of them. Okay, Nazwa. So now tell me, my brother, what will become the fate of our national security if I tell you that the people who are advising president on security matters are all the members of this Fulani forum that we are talking about?
All right, so sir, you don't hear waiting Ibisi in talk, and he mentioned that I don't know if you heard the video, sir. The young man mentioned that he feels very bad that the president will call on Sultan of Sokoto to discuss the state of security in the north, and the north is an Hausa land. That as an Hausa person, he feels very offended because there's a particular mindset to be say the Fulanis when they call gets say their own, and to make sure say they forgive and bring back, reintegrate the terrorists. But say the president supposed call on the Hausas because now their land be that. And the way he kept emphasizing that their land, it just reminds us of the conquering of Hausa land and all that and all that. So what do you make of that? What do you think about them based on perhaps the peaceful coexistence or the mindset of the core Hausa people where they live for the north, based on all these things really happen? Following this guy reaction, sir.
Well, this is a very straightforward and serious issue. Due to there are three main people who came to Nigeria. The first to come here of the foreigners were the Portuguese. The second to come were the British. The last to come were the Fulani. The Fulani are not indigenous to Nigeria. So they came, but after we've had independence, the British left and the Fulani stayed behind. Yes, they have small numbers. I think with the help of the British colonial system, the Fulanis were able to gain the authorization of the British to have warrant to supervise the houses and then report back to the British in what we regarded in history as indirect rule. Now, in the South, they did direct by having their DCs, DOs, and all that. And but then after the British left, the Fulanis who didn't leave continued to govern over the Hausa states. It is only now under democracy that the Hausas with their numbers are now beginning to rise. Yes, it is the effect of the democracy. And because the Fulanis, as I said earlier, do not have the numbers to maintain their historical positions of entitlement over the Hausa. That's why you're seeing this crisis. And they are probably trying to rush, not having the numbers to sustain their entitlement positions. They now think using violence will help them conquer Nigeria quickly. And that's why people like me said settler colonialism did not work in Namibia, it didn't work in Mozambique, it didn't work in Zimbabwe, it did not work in South Africa. It will not work in Nigeria. The Fulanis seek to gain by converting Nigeria into a settler colonial entity. This is at the heart of this jihad. Realizing that they didn't kill the Hausas off the other time, they now want to wipe them away using ethnic cleansings. Mostly Hausa Christians, as I've read out to you. Of course, the people you have in the Middle Belt are totally not Hausas, because Hausa land starts from Huntua, and then it stretches from Huntua through Kankara, through Basari, going down through places like Bungudu, Watarakwashi, Gusau, extending through there, through Sokoto, and then crossing through Tahua to Maradi. Hausa land gets to as far as Maradi, Agadez, on the Libyan border. Yes, the British have left, but Hausas still do not have self-rule. And this is the problem the Fulanis have. That's why you're hearing that young man talk like that. The Hausas are now beginning to wake up. Don't forget, at a time in this country, everybody from the South, due to lack of knowledge and ignorance of the heterogeneous diversity of northern Nigeria, will normally call everybody from Kogi to Sokoto Hausas. Of course, you know that's not true. The North is a diversely rich heterogeneous society. Then you have people in different areas. Like if you go to Benue, the majority tribe are the TV, followed by the Idoma. Then you have the Igede and the Agatu. You go to Plateau, you have the Birom who dominate Jos. And then you have the Taruk who are up in Langtang. You have them there in Pankshin. You have, of course, the Anagutas. You have those in Bokos, where Daria came from. You even have Jarawa, who are not only in Plateau, but are also in Bauchi State. Those are the ones who share the border through the Bauchi Toro Jos Road. And then you go up to Bauchi, you have the Siawa, where Tafabalewa comes from. And then you have quite a lot of other people. And but you see, since the British left, the Fulani have tried to dominate these areas using the military to give them advantage. That's why I told you, those cascade of military coups led by Buhari, Babangida and Abacha, and later on the rule of Abdul Salami, simply were dominated with a mindset to recreate Nigeria in a way that gives the Muslims advantage. But despite all those things are now being challenged in a democracy. Nigeria, if you look at school enrollment and its correlation to population density, is still a Christian majority country. Okay? So, and if you go to Kaduna, Of course, a lot of them there belong to Equa Church in Southern Kaduna. And you now go for trying to go to, you will also see the Equa Church in places like Biliri, in Gombe. You go up to Adamawa that has more Christians than Muslims. You go to Southern Borno and you have the Christians there. And so the North has incredible number of Christians. And but the impression the Fulani will try to create is that the North is all what's this called? Muslim. It's not true. It's not true. If Americans are here, it will help us to achieve free and fair elections. It will also help us to achieve honest census. I've looked at other countries where America is in. Look at Germany, look at Japan. They have very functional democracies and they have great markets. And this is what it is. Nigerians desire a free and fair electoral system. Nigerians desire good markets. It's a very, very talented country and rich. If we can be as prosperous as the Germans and the Japanese, where the Americans currently do have bases, so the talk about having a base in Port Harcourt is just not good. We, the Christians who own Port Harcourt, we welcome the Americans to come. Why are the Muslims in the far north, on the borders with Niger and Chad, the ones worried? Because they have a long-term plan to Islamize Nigeria. And they know if the Americans come here, all that will end. That is actually the reason why you're seeing a lot of the Fulani Muslims complain against the Americans, nothing else.
So what will happen if President Tinubu is unable to arrest the situation? And then how about if he arrests the situation temporarily and the US relaxes and the things start again? What thing will happen? So now these now things everybody talk.
I understand that is not going to stop the US interest in Nigeria. Yes, of course. Nigeria is
Remember,
a
say the
rich...
US because the Democrats them now they follow our government. They talk say there is no genocide. Most of
the Democrats are the ones who were paid by the Qataris to bring a Muslim to power in Nigeria, and that was how Buhari became a president.
Hey.
I repeat it again. The Democrats working under Obama were the ones who were pushed by the Qataris to bring a Muslim to power in Nigeria. That's how Buhari emerged. So Obama didn't just get on that case. No, it was Qatar. So Qatar has, of course, Qatar's super, interest wherever Muslims are across the world didn't start today. Hear me again. It was the Qataris that pushed Obama to seek a Muslim as president of and he kept quiet all that time. The calamity that he caused to become elected in Nigeria became a catastrophe of unimaginable historical proportion. So leave what anybody says. Trump knows what he's talking about. We want the killings to stop, my dear. Killings that have gone on for over 10 years. Killings that the government tried to lie, say that there's climate changes, and so people are fighting for space. And that's why there are the killings for people to take over the land. Who are killing? Muslims are killing Christians in historical numbers. It's a genocide. Why is it not the Christians killing Muslims? Why? Why is it the Muslims killing Christians in Plateau, in Taraba, in Gombe, in Borno, in places like Niger State, in Kaduna State? Why should we forget those things? The people talking don't know what they don't have the data. They are killing Christians. If they tell you Hausas are being killed, yes, Hausa Christians are being killed. That is a fact. Why are the Christians being killed? Why are the Christians being killed? Because the Fulanis want to make the land pure for only Fulani immigrants who are coming from us. Remember, when this killing started, when Buhari came in, he told Nigerians to hold their guns. So if you had the pump action, you are required to report, submit them to government. But when the Fulani militias came in from different countries, could Buhari confess himself that a lot of them came from Libya, some from the Sudan, some from Niger, some from Chad, Mali, Central African Republic. What did they come from? They were seeking land. Yes, the government at the time told them to go. They didn't go. They wanted land. They were promised land. Then the crisis escalated. And then they started killing as a way to seize land and then resettle the Fulanis on them. I've said this before, I'll say it again. Under Nigerian law, stealing, if a stolen item is seen in the hand of anybody, that person is normally arrested. And that person is forced to show the law officers who gave that property to them. So the lands whose owners were ethnically cleansed, those people living on those lands should be arrested and kept in custody until they bring those who did the original killing before bringing them onto the land.
You know, this one where you talk, he did the video where I played yesterday of a young man where talk say they do all this missionary work. He gave an example of a particular community in Mango local government area when they go do Christian outreach. And months later, he went back to that village. He said the village was deserted. He was seeing bones and, decaying bodies on the ground. He said that, in fact, he said that as a matter of fact, because I think the reason I played that video was because Shingumi said yesterday that Christians are burying empty coffins. He's in, what do they call it? Turkey, by the way, that Christians are burying empty coffins, claiming that they're burying their dead ones. So that guy now said that the people that the rate of killings are not even reported, that they are underreported. So he gave that particular village as an example. He said that village, he called the name of the village in Mango local government area. He said till today, there is no news about that if you Google, there is no news about that village being taken over. If you go there now, the village is deserted, that the only people you see there are Fulanis that you see there.
Yes, that is possible. The reasons why they are not reported is that the government used the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission to silence all media houses. They were told, don't report these killings. Why would the government tell journalists not to report happenings in community? And most of them agree to that. Some actually induced with money, because you're told if you don't listen and do what government says, you will not get government adverts. So this made the big TV houses stop any reporting of those killings. If you report the killings and the jihad, you'll be blacklisted. You will also be dealt with severely. Sometimes your license, or you could be penalized. I've told you before, I went to Channels Television. I reported about how I saw houses being killed on the Kwatrakwashi Kankara Huntua route. And when I asked the houses, they say Fulanis are killing their people and the government is not doing anything. And that was when I knew they were trying to organize DAS, a demography alteration scheme. Wipe away the indigenous population and then bring in the Fulani. Because why? Buhari asked for land through the Grazing Reserve Bill. Nigerians refused to give land. He asked for the cow colony. We refused to give that. We said cow business is a private business, and whoever is involved in it should find the land, buy the grasses. Government shouldn't be doing that. And that time I worked with the Senate committee that was in charge of this, and I did brief them properly at the Senate sessions, and they went on for that. The opposition mounted the pressure, and that bill for a consolidation of the underground water with the surface water, plus 6 kilometers of embankment land. So when that died, they started to bring another legislation about grazing route. We said no. Grazing route was the idea of one of the 4 regions when we had regions, and that was Northern region. And we told them that currently under the law, if an edict or a law made by a state comes into clash with the constitution takes precedent. And then they left that and they now started talking about something they call the water bill. Then later on, now federal inland waterway even went as far as going to court that it should not have the right to control those waterways plus the embarking land. And the embarking land were to be taken 3 kilometers on each side of the bank. 3 kilometers in, 3 kilometers in on the other side, that's 6 kilometers of land to be added to the body of water because the Fulanis were seeking for land with water. There are no Fulanis anywhere in Nigeria of Nigerian origin who are seeking to be relocated from their current places to a bush somewhere else. No. Those were Fulanis that were asked by President Buhari to come from anywhere in the world and come and populate Nigeria. But it's one thing to make such declaration, it's another thing to gain land because Nigerians are historically, emotionally attached to land. So when they couldn't get that land, that was why they now thought they should just do it by force. And that was how they now employed ethnic cleansings on an industrial scale.
Sir.
And it was to be done by 3 groups: the Gandokoi, the Miyetti Allah Kato Hori, and the Tabital Polaku. And we believe these things has to be stopped. We are happy where we are right now, and we would not stop until we get help from the international community so that the killings can stop in Nigeria.
All right, sir.
Nobody is happy.
Thank you.
Nobody is happy to have the killings sustained the way it is.
All right, sir. Now, just before we move to other issues, because there's something I want us to talk about concerning the obedient movement. But we hear that a pro-democracy coalition, Nigeria Unite, has written to the United States legislature, warning of the imminent collapse of democracy in Nigeria, accusing powerful figures within the government, particularly the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, of leading an orchestrated campaign to silence opposition voices. Now, in a letter dated November 11, 2025, and addressed to the United States Senate, the group expressed alarm over the declining democratic institutions in Nigeria, describing the situation as a regional emergency that threatens peace and stability across the Sahel and beyond. The deterioration of democracy, they say, in the Sahel region signifies a regional crisis that poses a growing threat to international peace and stability. The coalition said, warning that the crisis has direct implications for immigration, for migration control, affecting Europe. So I don't know how you see this kind of thing. Group of Nigerians come together, write to the United States House, Senate, say, Abego, they don't extinct democracy for our country. And the arrowhead of the extinction of democracy, Nyesom Wike, we're going to make sure, say, on a come to our aid. When Ibise will see the struggle for the one way Trump talk, what does this mean, by the way, sir?
Well, what that tells you is Nigerians now think that they can raise their voices. As I told you earlier, the essence of a woman's voice is for her to raise her voice if somebody's trying to kill her. If she doesn't raise her voice, she could just die and nobody will know why. So it is good that Nigerians are now raising their voices. Yes, there is such an action supported by the president, by Nyesom Wike, and his use of foreign shopping in the courts to undermine democracy. That is true. That is true. That is true. And our incipient democracy is severely challenged. I agree. And that's why we're saying if the Americans come here, a lot will change. Our democracy will be better, our markets will be freer. But there's a price to pay, of course. No nation likes a foreign power to come and establish a base. But I'll tell you, I'm better off having the Americans owning a base in Nigeria than having the jihadists like ISIS or ISWAP, Boko Haram, or the Fulani militias of Miet Allah Kotohori owning the military base in Nigeria, because that's about where we are right now. You know, the Muslims are using willing Christians like Wike to kill democracy. So nobody challenges them. Wike is simply, that's why I told you he lacks emotional intelligence. Even at this time, everybody's careful. He's still moving on to try to decapitate our democracy. And those are the issues people are right about raising their voices to. I welcome that, and I enjoin them to continue to raise their voice until something is done.
All right, sir. So make we move very quickly to other issues. We hear say there is wahala small for inside obedience movement, and I know go do well if I no ask you this question. So the director of mobilization for the obedience movement, Chikunye, he don't resign from his position, accusing former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi of abandoning the grassroots structure, and that is part that the grassroots structure that propelled the 2023 campaign. Now, Moye, who announced his resignation in a statement, cited frustration, harassment, and lack of structural support as key reasons for stepping down. He said the Labour Party's poor performance in the Anambra State election had rendered his role unbearable. Quoting excerpt of what he said, almost a year down the line, most of our short term, medium term, and long term plans have not been met. I will not be part of optics without work. He alleged that, he alleged that he and his business had faced rather constant harassment from sympathizers and operatives of the current administration. That is, people from the current administration have been, harassing them. Adding that his involvement in the movement, that is obedient movement, had made him a target. Quoting him, he says, I and my business have also been harassed non-stop by sympathizers and instruments of this government. It is a role that puts a target on your back. Moye revealed that he personally funded the movement's mobilization activities with a tune of 40 million naira, covering events, travel, media campaigns, and all that. And he said that despite all of that commitment, that P2B failed to maintain communication to provide financial support or the mobilization directorate. Now, most of these complaints he made, Nigerians now don't they use and they attack P2B. Say, how can you say you're a leader and you're not asking for a mobilization campaign group wait there for you? You don't call them, you don't check up on them, you don't look at them. In fact, if obedience group don't scatter, and P2B no fit handle obedience, they don't scatter. You know, if you handle Labour Party, they don't scatter. How is he say go fit handle Nigeria? That's not waiting people they talk. Now I say no, I must get this conversation with you, make I talk to you about them.
This is the problem we have had. A lot of us who started the movement started it as volunteers. Okay, I started as a volunteer. Me and Toyin Okukwe, before we had hunted P2B. And that has been the reason why, even though I've expended my own resources, people have told me, you're spending so much energy and resources. What is P2B bringing? And I told them, I said, I am a volunteer. We organize to source for money to do the things we can do. But of course, we also have legitimate financial pressures. And that's why those who are not able to hold on themselves will walk. What I have for Mr. Monye is to tell him thank you for his time and his energy. Kuchi has come to service us. I want to tell you, P2B, this crisis we started nationally at the PDP. He used his own finances to finance his presidential campaign. And I expect whoever wants to run for election in the states, in the region, should be able to work to raise their own finances. You don't just come up, you're running for election, and then you start telling people to give you money. If you don't have the money to run for your Anambra State elections or campaigns, then don't even waste your time. Okay? This strategy is not based on P2B being the funder. No. The way the obedient movement is structured is that we give our all for the sake of a better Nigeria. I don't think Mr. Obi has what it takes to be able to fund everybody who comes to work as a member of the obedient movement. We like to refer to ourselves as volunteers. Don't forget, no single individual can fund a political party. It was Tinubu's funding of his campaign. And as he said, he's buying with his own money of the presidency of those who annulled the elections, switch off the server, and say that's a glitch. Those people didn't give Tinubu the presidency for free. They took money from him. He used his own money. And that's the genesis of the problem he has with those people in the APC. When they came back to him to say, Oga, calculate us into your government, he said, no, I will not make that mistake because I don't owe you a 10. I've paid you off. I bought what you gave me from you. If he had given it to me, trusting me as a party man, then he can come and say, let us talk. But no, I bought it and I paid you off. Don't come and talk to me. So that's how we are. With P2B, yes, there's nothing wrong. The man who say he's resigning, I wish him well. I also thank him for his time with us. He's not the first. Don't forget, we spoke here earlier about a friend of ours, Kenneth Okonkwo, who also left. It's the same reason. P2B is not bringing money. But you see, what do I then tell myself? I started before these people joined us, and I'm still here. I don't get money from Peter. Yes, it is because I seek for a better country. It is because I know that P2B agreeing to run on our platform is the reason why we stopped Atiku from becoming president. Because I knew it would be dangerous during this period when the Fulanis have levied a war against Africans across the Sahel to allow a Fulani man succeed Buhari. That will be an existential, dangerous proposition. And that was the reason we said no. The presidency that would succeed Buhari must come from the South. Yes, at the end of the day, I didn't get it from P2B. Tinubu is from the South. Tinubu is from the South. So whatever it is, I will thank those who have served with us, who are still keeping hope, and that they should please understand that there are other things that sustain people like me who are involved in the struggle to make Nigeria a better place politically. I thank the gentlemen who have served, who have given us their time, like Mr. Monye. I thank him very much. There's nothing wrong. He can take away some time and go do other things. When the elections start properly, he can come again.
So,
If he's still
so you do
interested.
not think that P2B may need to act differently, especially to show more compassion and communicate more with people working for his success?
Let me help you.
Okay, sir.
P2B is a presidential candidate. That's what I did with him. Those who want to run for elections in Anambra should be able to fund their own elections. Those who want to run for elections in any state should be able to fund their own elections. What happened to the people that we produce? Some of them have jumped to APC because they want to collect money. You heard, if you go to APC, you'll be given
Mm,
500 million.
yeah, that's what we hear. House of
If
Rep,
you're a
500
senator,
million.
you will get
Senate,
a
1
billion.
billion. Yeah.
So the man who's telling you that he's jumping ship,
Mm,
how are you sure is not also being lured along the same line?
hmm.
If you're a governor, you get 250 billion. You cross over, you bring your states. That's what it is. So There are reasons people say they are jumping ship. I wish them well. I thank them for their time with us. But they are wrong to think that will fund the activities of candidates in Anambra or any state. So if that is his reason for leaving, I wish him well. And I thank him for his time, efforts, and energy expended on the video movement.
Thank you. Thank you, Nigerians. More lines are now open. Let's begin to take your thoughts and reactions to the conversation we've had tonight. So kindly call the WhatsApp number. Time is already fast spent because we started late, so I need to release Oga Catch so that he can continue his beginning of the weekend. 0817-029-4077. That's the number to call. Call that number on WhatsApp alone. It is 0817-029-4077. Better still, you could just follow the link where they by the pinned post. That link will bring you straight into the studio for you to join the conversation straight into the studio. So follow that link, come straight into the studio to join the conversation. Now, Dr. Catch, before we start taking the calls, a lot of people they wonder why Ibisa of all countries which she go, say he go Turkey. Is there a problem with him traveling to Turkey? Is there anything wrong with him? And it was from Turkey he spoke that he said that Nigerian Christians are burying empty cups. Northern Christians are burying empty coffins. Nothing they did inside the coffin.
Remember what he said earlier?
Mm.
Remember what he said? You're talking about a man who earns his living by partaking from money raised by these terrorists. So what do you expect him to say? If Nigerian Christians are burying empty coffins, no problem. Let the Americans come. When they come, they will see if the people being killed are just empty coffins or they are human beings. Why do we say all of us want the Americans to come? Them, who are the sponsors and patrons of these people involved in the jihad, are the ones who are crying for America not to come. Why come the whole of southern Nigeria? More than half of northern Nigeria want the Americans to come. Why are those people who are responsible for the genocide the only people saying no, Americans shouldn't come?
No, sir, not
Those
not
are
not the
questions
whole
you
of
ask.
southern Nigeria wants Americans to come on. I know people from like southwest, for instance, who would say no.
Listen,
Sir,
there are people from southwest, most of them are Yoruba Muslims, who were promised power after the Civil War. That's why you saw the promotion of people like Arisekola, Abiola, Tinubu. Since those, no Yoruba Christians have been promoted. They were put down so that Yoruba Muslims can gain, because the Fulani say when they work with Chief Awolowo, Yoruba Christian, they didn't get it well. So the Yoruba Muslims who are there, the head of MURI, Muslim Rights Council and all that, they seem to be so vociferous. But it's inconsequential. Ours is most Yorubas. Remember Sunday Igboho, when he organized his own people to counter the Fulanis foray into the Oyo Forest Reserve. I don't know Yorubas. Remember when Obasanjo informed the country of Fulanization and Islamization agenda? Remember that? Is that not a Yoruba man? Remember Chief Ayo Adebanjo of blessed memory? Remember that? This problem is everywhere in the country. Yeah, Tinubu could have those that he used to divide the country. Remember what Obama said? If you have to divide the people for you to win an election, you will have very difficult arrangements in trying to unite them when you govern. Remember? Obama said that if you have to divide the people for you to win a campaign, you will not be able to unite them for you to use in governing. That's what we have today. It's a divided country. Christians have been attacked everywhere. Christian shops have been knocked down. Names that are named, Christian names are being wiped out in Lagos State. Christian houses are being pulled down in Lagos State. Haven't you noticed since Trump talked, those demolitions in Lagos State of Christian houses, Christian properties have stopped? Haven't you noticed that? Because they know what's going on. They know what's going on. The Igbos are being attacked because the Igbos represent the largest stock of Christian tribes in Nigeria. So the war against Christians is an old war. It didn't start today. It's only now it's becoming internationally known and recognized that the Christians are suffering heavily in Nigeria.
Hi, Kesiana, you're welcome. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good evening, Dr. Kash. I have been following the conversation, and I agree with almost everything that Dr. Kash has said.
But
The fact that people still say that Baba made Buhari win is what I don't agree with. He voted. Buhari's election, his first election, was the people voting Jonathan's administration out. We were tired of the things that the PDP was doing at the time.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's the only free and fair election we've had in this dispensation.
Okay.
Because people came out to vote. All I believe the Americans came to do was say, do not rig this election. And if you rig this election, and when the election is won, or if the election is won by either side, no violence should be there. And that's what they came to do. They did not influence anybody to vote. They did not pay anybody to vote. In that election, I know very well that there was no money changing hands. People were not bought. The electorate was not bought. People were tired of the things that, look at what was happening. And it's the same reason we voted Jonathan out. It's almost the same thing that is happening now. The same level of corruption, the same level of psychophancy and all the unnecessary stuff. If we want to stay together as a nation, we have to all come together. Quite complex nation. Nigeria, with over how many countries have over 250 different tongues, our dialects? The confusion is plenty.
All right.
If we do not want to stay together, let's come together and say, okay, if this is it, maybe we go our separate ways. The amalgamation in 1914 was for 100 years, and we should rediscuss it.
Okay.
In over 100 years, let's come back and discuss, do we want to stay together?
Okay.
Because the Fulanis, the Hausas, the Igbos, the Urubos, the Shekiris, the Jaws, the thieves, they're all different people, and everybody is talking for themselves. If we have a war today in Nigeria, we don't have patriotic Nigerians that will stand and fight for that country. With a country that we have over 200 million people, the members of the armed forces in Nigeria are not to 1 million. Does it make any sense? Everybody that is out there to make money for themselves, for their pockets. The people that were there during Buhari's time were there to make money for themselves. The people that were there during Jonathan's time were there to make money for themselves, for their pockets and their families. The same thing is happening again. Why are we having people that are decamping from parties to a party that is not working? The APC has failed us. The political class has failed us as a people. I will say it over and over and over. We Nigerians that are in the diaspora are doing exceptionally well. We come home and we become a failure. Because the system it has been put together to keep us down, to make us be fail and subjected under the government.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. Kach, I don't know if you heard what he said. I'd like you to react to it.
What did he say? What are the points? He said a lot of
agrees with almost everything you said. That's when you talk, say, now Obama and I make Buhari win election, say no agree for that. Because Buhari election are the only election where everybody comes. If you say that the only free and fair election we don't get in recent times. Because people
It's not true. It is not true.
wanted change.
It is not true. There was nothing free and fair about it.
Jonathan And because he follow that election through. So that's why he's saying that.
Don't forget, it was Buhari's election win that the Chibok kidnapping was calibrated. Remember that? An election win where the Boko Haram was used. Remember, it was Buhari election win where the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, was bombed in his home with his family in
Yes,
Khan.
yes,
Remember?
yes.
Because the election was inflated by more than 2 million votes.
And the guy said he had the original results.
Of course, he had the original result. What did they do? They bombed him in his house with his family. The man is talking because maybe, as he says in diaspora, let us remind him of this. Those 2 million votes that came for which the man was bombed in his house is what caused the differential. But he didn't win the election. This is living, this is a fact. Why? When the man say he had the real copy, that's not the real copy. What did they do? They bombed him and his family in his house, locked the door, and he was burned to death in his own house. How could that be free and fair election? How is that free and fair?
All
Take
right.
those excuses, please.
Make I take this call. Hello, good evening and welcome. Yes. Please help us increase the volume of your voice a bit.
Dr. Kaj,
Okay.
that election wasn't free and fair.
Yeah.
Especially in Benin. I was in Edo State in Benin.
Mm.
And I watched the one between Buhari and Atiku, I think.
Jonathan.
Yeah, the state won. He won that state, but eventually gave that state to APC. So if that guy says the election was free and fair, I don't agree with him. It wasn't free and fair. Buhari was not put in that position because he won, because majority of Nigerians voted for him. It's not true. It's not true. That's my contribution. Now, I want to agree with that. Last night, I said we have to really come on a round table to agree if we are to remain as one nation. Because at this point, I will just tell you that for me, what I think we should do to have a long-lasting solution is just divide that nation. Because I don't see, yes, that's what I think we should do at this point. We should just agree peacefully for everybody to go their way, because I don't see these Fulani people, as long as they remain in Nigeria, that peace will reign in that country. I don't see peace reign in Nigeria as long as Fulanis remain in that country. Thank you. That's my contribution.
Oh, hey, thank you too, my brother. Dr. Kat, would you like to react to that? That he agrees with peacefully dissolving Nigeria, the entity called Nigeria, and people going their separate ways, because he feels that there will never be peace in Nigeria, no matter how much.
Well, it is looking like that. You see, the Fulani have insisted that they will not want a Nigeria where everybody is equal with them. Now, it's a problem. You could imagine if no Hausa man is emir anywhere in Hausa land. Understand that. We might claim we're independent, but we're not independent. If we're independent, why don't the Hausas have the right to govern themselves in their states? No, so you can't be independent. We're quasi-independent. Okay, we're independent in mouth. The good thing about the American intervention
But
is
wait, no vexer. Why if election day indeed conducted, and you mentioned here say the Fulani is not getting numbers, how would they force the Hausas to vote for them for during election? Why the Hausas need to vote?
most of the places elections are not held. That's why for the first time when the government introduced the need for a biometric authentication before you can cast your vote, those magic phantom numbers evaporated all over the north. That was why they switched on the server and started manually writing some acrobatics. Then they declared Tinubu in the middle of the night. Don't forget this. Don't forget that. Okay? They don't have the numbers. All those lies. So the minute they now brought the beavers equipment, which was now to authenticate you biometrically using your thumbprint, all those phantom numbers that were located by the soldiers to areas in the north evaporated. That was why you saw P2B win the election with fantastic numbers in places like Plateau, Benue, places like Nasarawa. Of course, Nasarawa is understandable because it has now become a majority Christian state. It was created tactically by Abacha in giving the Salabawa ruling house of the Fulanis, Kefi, gave the Kasinawa Nasarawa town that though had a predominant population of Aho people, whose traditional ruler, the Aho Ajeri. The Afro Ajeri is resident in Udegi. And then, of course, Lapia itself is where the Kanuris are. And that was why Abacha, being a Kanuri, did not put the capital in centrally located Akwanga. He took the capital to Lafayette. And remember how much Jeremiah Uzeni begged Abacha to put his people, the Taruk, in from Plateau in the New Nasarawa, and he refused. But of course, as fate will have it, Obasanjo became president, and then Niger State embraced Sharia. Nasarawa governor refused to do that based on Obasanjo's pleadings, and Obasanjo now changed and then targeted Nasarawa with developments and a brand new road linking Nasarawa to Kefi and Abuja, and everything changed. The brand new road that links Nasarawa State to eastern Nigeria was signed and commissioned during that period by Obasanjo as a way to thank Governor Abdullah Hadamu. Today, due to the preponderance of Christians who live in Karu, Maraba, and in Nyanya, Nasarawa State today is a Christian majority state.
Please take on this call. Hello, good evening and welcome, please.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mob. Welcome. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. I
Oh,
needed to ask.
it's evening here. Yes, please go on.
I needed to ask our guest in reference to Obi. That's the only comment I have to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
So my question to our guest. I've been wavering about Obi capability recently. So because of the political structure and the coalition building and the movement management, it seemed like he's not competent, to sustain the momentum that was built, and the alliance that was built from the grassroots. What do you think he can be able to do to significantly manage it for 2027? In my own opinion, I begin to have that. Judging from the recent transaction, what happened in Anambra State and some of his political, ally bidding. So, can you give me your opinion in reference to that, please? If you try to be non-biased. I know you're an obedience, please, sir.
All right, so would you like to react to that, sir?
What did he say, please?
Okay, he did say that he's beginning to think that perhaps Obi does not have the competence to sustain the momentum of the grassroots that's gathered gathered in his favor for 2023, to sustain that momentum through to 2027 rather. That because the way things are going now, and all of that, he's beginning to doubt or have a little doubt if P2B would be able to gather the same support that he had in 2023.
P2B is not a magician. P2B got the support he got because the country was bad. And Nigerians wanted a new direction. That's why they met him. Has the country changed? No. Are things bad? They are worse. But you see, P2B cannot be spending during periods that are not election time like he spends during election time proper. And that's why you're seeing people pull out if they don't get the support they think he should put in by way of bringing money. The reasons why I'm not worried is because Nigeria is even worse today than it was in 2023. The only difference is that Buhari is not there. And the reasons why we are now talking about Tinubu is Tinubu inherited a troubled country. The most troubling aspect of the country was the insecurity, and we have not seen him set processes to rein in the militiamen who are committing the genocide against Nigerians across mostly the Middle Belt and parts of the North.
Right.
So if the killings and things continue to be as bad as they are, when the time comes, Nigerians will still move out. But the problem is not who votes. It is who counts the votes. And if those who count the vote are free and fair. But of course, the processes we have in this country are not honest. But we don't need to stop fighting because we think people will be killed when we go to war. We must sustain. We should not stop. We have to continue to fight for a better Nigeria.
All right.
Guys,
He's not the only person who's expressed this concern about perhaps lack of sustenance of the momentum on P2B's side. Do you think there's something P2B needs to be doing? Because for some people will feel, see they do what they're supposed to do, in they go out, they out to do those things when they talk about when they make them happy, in they so into organizations we get to do with education, into the lives of people and all that. But some people say it's beyond giving people money. He needs to mobilize the grassroots more. I mean, we see APC doing a lot of things. APC, they follow their people fire for fire. APC, people, they go almost one, carry anything for Tinubu matter because he's sustaining them. So do you think that there's something else P2B needs to do to ensure that he sustains his fan base or support base?
P2B's fan base is simple. The suffering Nigerians and those who seek a better country. We are still plenty. We are still plenty.
Okay, sir.
So whatever it is, nothing has changed in numbers. Because the conditions that made 2023 possible are still existing all over the country. So it is us who are inside the obedient movement that are seeing our numbers deplete because some of our members are complaining. Peter has been known to donate money to causes like universities, the churches, and mostly where you have very, very nurses and a lot of courses across the country. And the people say, if your people call me and they say, "What, your man is spending money donating to all these causes. What about us who have forgone
Supported
all
him.
the
So you
cause
feel like say some
that
of
we have
the
been
expectant
subjected to
too.
by the ruling party, and yet we say no, let us stay with Peter"? So I think Peter is just using this to say those who are genuinely for me, who volunteer for a better country, will stay. That
All
I
right.
believe is true.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me just take this call. This will be my last call. Hello, good evening and welcome. Hello, good evening. Welcome. I can barely hear you. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
All right. Yes, I can. Very well. Please kindly make it quick. Go ahead, sir.
Yes,
Welcome,
this
sir.
is Tony. Yeah, I'm calling in because I want to thank you, Dr. Kash, for airing a lot of views today. But I have some reservation here with regards to His Excellency P2B.
Okay.
For the grassroots, what they're saying is that there is need for P2B to keep them together. It's losing group right now. A lot of people are moving out from the group, and then look at what happened at Anambra State.
So, how, in your opinion, how do you think P2B should put them together? Because
what I think is that P2B should always have a meeting with the people. Let them know let them know, have interactions with him, know what is up to, what he's trying to do. Nobody knows what he's trying to do, and people are worried, and people are moving away gradually. We're not talking about money. For me, we are providing support. I've been sending some to support the group, but then we need to hear from him.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So and that is beyond people saying that it's also good for him to guide his intentions and keep it close to his chest, because say they don't accuse opposition of infiltrating everything. Sorry, the ruling party of infiltrating every opposition when they try to come up. So feel so what's he making the keep intention close to his chest now, make anybody know what he won't do, so that they no go fit counter him.
Yes.
Because what you do not know, you cannot destroy.
I agree with you, but then that affected Anambra State adversely, because he not coming out early to say, okay, we're supporting Mohalo, created a lot of problem.
Do you think that that's the reason why Moalu did not win, or you think it's because the Labour Party did not just present a popular candidate in Anambra State?
Yes.
Because a lot of people think that if it was a Valentine Ozigbo, for instance, that was in Labour Party, there is no way the music couldn't have been the same. So do you think it's about that, or it's just because the party, the candidate itself? Because no matter whose influence it is, P2B cannot go and bring somebody from anywhere and say vote for him, and people will go and foolishly vote for the person if the person does not have his own pedigree and his own clout.
Yes, you agree, but I'm talking about timing.
Okay.
The timing, they came out very late. If you are started early, this is who I'm in support with. I want you guys to come right behind him and support him that day. But it started very late. So people there was a program that was set up again some time ago on this thing, a space that was created for ADC candidate. People started asking, okay, who are we supporting? Are we supporting APC or supporting?
I like what you talk, but on the other side, I'd like to ask you, who do you think Tinubu has been meeting to tell his plans for 2027? Who and who waiting Atiku they meet to tell him plan for 2027? As P2B they do.
Well, I don't know about that. All I know about is my own.
Have you heard from their support base that these people like Atiku has met us and you don't hear anything like that?
You don't have to work with what they do. You have to do your own.
So if all those people go their patients, the president is not even addressing Nigerians. He's not even addressing Nigerians. They even beg and make a come talk since we say this Trump press come. So if people who he's contesting with are not diverging their day-to-day, their plans, why do you think P2B should? I'm sorry, I'm just asking, because I want to understand why so much is expected of him.
Tinubu, I don't expect him to. He has no plan. He has nothing he said. He has no idea. He doesn't know what he's doing here. He's just sitting there because he wants to be there and steal money. So, him not to comment on the people, of course, but to say, he has nothing to say. That's why he's not coming out. He cannot compare to be with Tinubu. Yes,
all right. Well, for P2B, what you expect from him is to do all his support base every time, talk to them. And the talk when they get for interviews and all that and talking with them. All right. And then they will not also see him as a secessionist to say, you just choose only these people to talk to. Meanwhile, he's all Nigeria's president you want to be. You know that there will be that propaganda against him. Because next thing that people will say, hey, he's only meeting his supporters because those people are like cults. He's not meeting. I thought he wanted to be president of all Nigerians. Is it not only his supporters that are in Nigeria? You know that narrative would also fly if he did that.
You have to maintain your block.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, sir. Would you like to react to this very quickly? While we wrap up, sir, make I drop.
It's the same thing we've been saying. Nobody reveals his plan. So P2B is right to keep his plans very close to his chest. Nigerians should have patience. When the time comes, they'll be carried along in regards to candidates' strategic plots. And it's not everybody that be told that. There are things I know I would not divulge. So all I can tell you is let them be careful, let them be gentle, let them be patient. Okay? A better Nigeria is still possible.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So I'd like to say a big thank you to you for once again honoring us. This assignment I give you every Thursday. Your reward be on earth, no day for heaven. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. Don't worry, during Christmas, I'm going to find out your brand and I'll order it.
No, no
Thank
problem.
you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. I thank you again for having me. I
Thank you.
also thank your audience.
Thank you.
Will continue to discuss
Yes, sir.
and share thoughts about country.
Yes,
You
sir.
can see everything changes every day.
Yes, sir.
Nigeria has become a country of one day
One
used
trouble.
to new.
Oh,
So nobody knew Wike would take on the military establishment. If they told me that, I wouldn't know. But that's where we are right now. And that's why I say, if he really loves the president, they would not do this. And that's why I say he lacks emotional intelligence.
thank you. Thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having
I appreciate you. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, sir. Good night.
me.
Good night,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Bye, sir.
Okay.
All right, Nigerians, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you. If you know they follow this platform, waiting you again. Nah, why they do like this? It is free of charge. You're not paying money for it. So kindly click on the subscription button, like this post, share it, make it reach as many people as possible so that we'll continue to educate people around us for the things that happen for inside Nigeria. Because here we get raw and undiluted conversation about how to move our country forward and how all of us go feel live together, make A happy, B happy, everybody happy, and everything will come can rise for inside our country. My name is Precious Amy. And as usual, I would like to say thank you plenty for joining me. And remember to protect your mental health, because he who worries about Nigerian problem and runs away lives to worry another day. All right. I love you guys very much. I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, so I'll be having Prince Francis Chilaka tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow evening, God willing. For now, protect your mental health. Good night and God bless you. Thank you.